Hey guys, welcome to the Final Frontier. My name is Alex. I don't have any friends, and I play a lot of games. Growing up, my sisters, well, everybody would say I play too many games. Ever since I was 5 years old, and my dad got me and my sisters a GameCube in 2007. Well, it was around 2007, 2008, and the Wii came out. We couldn't afford the Wii at the time, so my dad got us the last gen option, the GameCube. You know, it had Mario Party, Mario Kart, Double Dash, and most importantly, Super Mario Sunshine, the best 3D platforming game ever created. It beats Odyssey, both Galaxies, 64, hell, even all the 3D Sonic games combined together in a box. Sunshine beats the shit out of all of them, hands down. Don't even mention Crash Bandicoot. It's just like the moveset. You have the triple jump somersault. You have the wall jumps, the dive jumps, the sideways kickflip jumps, the spin jumps. You could buffer them. You could buffer the inputs or like input them, and then you could do like the jumps in air, and it's all really technical and advanced at the time too. And it's like this is nothing really compared to it before, you know. In other 3D Marios, it doesn't have the same level of depth and technicality that it was just, they had it pinned down in Sunshine, and they had it so good at that time that it's really, you know, it's just underappreciated. One of the best, most responsive controllers ever, the GameCube controller. The movement is snappy. You flick the control stick and it pops like a click when you do a kick flip. You roll your thumb, click, 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 and you do a ballerina spin, the little spin jump. However, I'm not here to glaze Sunshine all day. It's been 16 years, and I've played thousands, tens of thousands of games, and I've been chasing that feeling of a platformer as unique and innovative as Sunshine. Galaxy 1 and 2 scratched an itch. Colors and generations, showing off the Boost engine in all its glory. Celeste, yes, Celeste. Alex, why Celeste is 2D? Why is Celeste, you know, even acknowledged here, you know? Because Celeste is the greatest of all time of the genre, because it acknowledges everything that came before it and innovates on the concepts in a fleshed out and enthralling way that makes the player feel bouncy, fast, and fun in this arcadish style as an indie developer in an indie game. In the current gaming landscape, platformers are a dying genre, like racing games. Look at what happened to Need for Speed. They haven't recovered since Payback. You know, Forza ain't doing so hot either. And, you know, with Payback, you know, all the stuff with the microtransactions, everything, the engine's watered down, all the physics are gone. Like, it's just, it's a shame, you know. AAA studios axe staff and get rid of old teams and prioritize monetization to please shareholders. You know, I keep thinking, when was the last time I played a good Blink genre game? Last time I played a good platformer. Up to the standards with Sunshine is innovative, unique, ahead of its time, the pinnacle of its genre, challenging, rewarding, fun, replayable. It's not a dumb, watered down, recycled mechanics of a previous game. It's self-aware, it excels past its predecessors and evolves from its past. 2D platformers have more of an emphasis on platforming. 3D needs to focus more on momentum and physics, being able to traverse the environment to be interesting or set themselves apart. Platforming games used to be the standard. Entire studios were focused on and made with the expertise of studying, making mechanics, physics, movement of and advancements of platforming games. Like studios like Havoc, Bank, D3, and many other like third-party studios were like just pop up and just make platforming games. And then in the 2010s it was like shooters, and then now it's like live service shitholes. And racing games too have gone down the path of being a dying genre. I miss the old Need for Speed. I used to play Most Wanted 2012, and that was the game. You know, I'm not like a Need for Speed purist. I'm not like a Hot Pursuit. Well, Most Wanted OG, Most Wanted. I'm not that old, but still, I miss the old Need for Speed. What the industry is today is battle royale and live service games. AAA devs don't really want to make rich single-player experiences anymore. Instead, they need to monetize and sell you something. You would typically have to earn these things by exploring the game naturally or achieving something as the player, as like a token of achievement. I've earned this, I beat this boss, I did X amount of things, I collected X amount of things, and then you would get something. Now it's just simply loot crates, boxes, and gaming as in gambling with loot boxes, RNG systems, and random numbers, and the AAA companies are becoming the house and you're the gambler when you come into their live service games. Platforming can be as challenging as it is relaxing and immersive to get lost. Shooting games take a lot of focus, and if there's multiplayer, highly competitive, in fact, if they have high team-based gameplay with open comms and you're on the receiving end of a lashing on the a bad loss or a mistake, your teammates can get pretty toxic, just pissy, bitchy, complainy, cussy, just ruining your day, lash out at you, be bitter, and make you have just a shitty time. Multiplayer games aren't inherently bad, just usually the environment around some games are so toxic and draining, it feels less like escapism and more like a job that drains the enjoyment out of one's life. Some of the platforming games I played be like Crash Bandicoot, less common ones, Epic Mickey, The Blob 2, Little Big Planet, Ratchet & Clank, Uncharted, more popular action adventure with some platforming elements inside of it, and then there's Jak and Daxter, Spyro, Banjo-Kazooie, Rayman, Donkey Kong Country, the list goes on. Besides Sonic and Mario, the two most iconic platformers, these were the other games in the landscape. And every action-adventure game had some element of platforming in it at the time, in that generation, that time period. Looking at the current state of the games industry, especially with Nintendo, after the death of Satoru Iwata, the former president of Nintendo, the same company that sold you the Wii and gave you Wii Sports for free are now charging you $80, $90 for games. These are not the same people. To me, Mario Kart World looks like a cash grab, a cheap imitation. By making the roads larger, reducing your turning radius, every track is essentially a straight line with turns that don't go sharper than 30-40 degrees. It is a disgrace to every game coming before it. This is what happens when gaming becomes mainstream. With the last decade, the last 5 to 10 years, making money more than the films industry, being 3.86 times larger, making $282 billion globally in revenue compared to $73 billion from the films industry based off the revenue from 2024. This sort of corporate think of cutting profit margins over giving the customer, the gamer, what they want, or pleasing investors. It's the same type of people at Nintendo, at Xbox, and maybe, big AAA devs, and maybe Sony. I don't know at this point. Consoles are kind of cooked. And my example of this would be Xbox. They make Hi-Fi Rush, a single-player, rhythm-based action platformer that's, more of like a single-player experience. It's not live service. It's well-received. Then they axe the entire studio. They just get rid of them. Go like, well, we didn't make as money as Fortnite, so I guess we just get rid of y'all. And also, you go look at Activision. Crash 4 was really good. It actually had some innovative movement with the super spin variant. If you finish the game and you get to, you beat the main boss and then you come back and then there's a super spin that was actually a very unique addition, and it added totally brand new levels, and you would replay the levels would be completely different with this new ability. And then they had the black and white ones. I forget what they're called, but it was really cool. And But it was a shame they asked the Toys for Bob team that they also made a Spyro remaster too of the trilogy, which was good. But Activision, they cut it, and they cut it, and it's the same bullshit. Go like, we need to make another Call of Duty, and we need to focus more on Warzone and make more money. It's bullshit. Yeah. Not to mention all the mergers and acquisitions in the past years, Xbox buying Bethesda, and them also buying Activision and Blizzard. Then they quietly kill the beloved teams and studios off. They downsize, as in corporate lingo. Xbox has become the new EA of the games industry, slowly killing off whatever it touches, and who immediately jumped at the opportunity to be anti-consumer and raise all the games to $80 after Nintendo? Xbox. Games have been taking over the movie industry, while dipping their toes into it. Well, with the Minecraft movie being massively successful for Microsoft, and the Mario Bros. Movie being massively successful for Nintendo. These companies are trying to become like Disney, too big to fail. Nintendo with their Super Nintendo World, and Xbox like Disney, literally wanting to purchase and own everything successful that's smaller than it. The studios and IPs, it will just sit on them and do nothing, like it's been doing with Rare for years. The persistence of Fortnite, PUBG, the Battle Royale, Battle Pass, microtransactions, shooters still kicking 8 years later, well, after Fortnite's inception, making absurdly high amounts of money with the same regurgitated skins and garbage and mainstream Battle Pass, whatever they mix and crossover, whatever crap that just doesn't match it. They just put whatever in it. It doesn't matter. It sells. Big corporate CEOs see this and cut all other genres of non-profitable games that don't poop money, like Fortnite or Warzone. That's why we have even less platformers, racers, any other genre, a game that's just been neglected over the years. We have less games. And yes, the money made by games keeps growing, but the quality and selection of games has been going down with ballooning costs, massive budgets. Now all that's left is just indies to fill the power vacuum left by the AAA games studios. Times have changed in the games industry in the last 2 decades. I've spent enjoying games, experiencing 4 to 5 console generations. Looking back at that and now looking at the landscape, console gaming is kind of cooked, with Steam being so popular and affordable, pre-built PCs with high-end chips being affordable, and just looking at what the industry is doing now, raising the prices and ballooning the cost of budgets of all games, and saying that making games is more expensive, when really it's not. They just want to increase their profit margins, and they're just being fucking greedy. That's all it is. And they, with Nintendo and, the stick drift, we complain, go like, why didn't you fix the stick drift, you get this part, etc., and everybody's saying like you could put this part in, and then in the most bland, just naive, like it's just like just feigning ignorance. It's just so conceited and stupid that they didn't at least fix the stick drift problem, because it's been so prominent. It's not red ring of death problems, but it's just sleight of hand, just dirty. They just want to sell you more stuff. So it's like they could have fixed it, but they didn't. Let that tell you. And with Steam, with the deep discounts, 50 to 80% discounts on AAA games at Call of Duties, all this stuff, Helldivers, all these games are going on sale. And Nintendo being Nintendo, well, not being the same Nintendo of Satoru Iwata, this greedy Nintendo today, it was all. So the problem with the Switch, what makes me mad about the Switch is, it is successful, it was mainstream, but all the games and stuff on the Switch came from the Wii U. And, I already had these games, I already played them. And then, okay, so Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, what they had, the DLC tracks and stuff. What were most of the DLC tracks? Low effort Mario Kart poor ports from their mobile game that they made, and then the tracks were awkward to play. So most of the tracks aren't even like remastered or refurbished. It's just like the least amount of effort that they could put into it to make the fans happy by porting the Mario Kart Tour tracks. And then you look at Mario, the 3D World has that expansion pass, and they're making you pay full price when, as a Nintendo Select, it was maybe like $40 or so. Now they're charging you like $60 or $70 for the game now. And then it was like the same argument came up with like Tropical Freeze, which you could get for like $20, but then it just went up and now it's like $60. And you know, this is like a 10-12-year-old game, and they say that they remaster it, but you know, they don't touch it. It's basically the same game. Maybe they bumped the resolution or something. There's no fixes, no nothing, same bugs, same everything's just broken, or it'll have more bugs than the original game. Like, you're getting like, just like you could play it on a modern console now. Nothing's fixed, basically. That's what they're selling you. You can thank Doug Bowser and Furukawa, the current president of Nintendo. Nintendo always branded itself as the cheap, affordable option, more focused on fun and experimentation and taking risks. Now Nintendo has become what it once hated, a formulaic hodgepodge of checkboxes in game design. Open world, more characters, recycled content to cut costs. There was the rumors of, you know, the map from Mario Kart World was basically like a mirror copy of Breath of the Wild's map or something along those lines. It was similar or something like that. Nintendo games didn't always used to cost $60+ and now $80. Before, there was this thing called Nintendo Select, and it was a thing because Satoru Iwata cut his salary in half and lowered the prices of the games because the Wii U sold so poorly. To sort of incentivize sales to get, you know, people to, you know, focus to buy more games and stuff. He sacrificed his own salary and lowered the prices of games so more people could buy the games, which the Nintendo of today would not do because they're greedy as shit. So you have these 10-year-old plus games from the Wii U era. Like, this Nintendo of today hasn't made anything I would consider good. You know, you have Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze, you got Pikmin 3D World repackaged with the DLC extension on top of it, just like a little added extra to sell and make a little bit more money, increase profit margin, blah, 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 blah. On top of that. And you're paying $60+, maybe $70, if you're getting this DLC, $70, $80 already. They're just juicing you for money on these 10-year-old plus games. Smash Bros. On the Switch is basically Smash 4 with the added air dodge, whatever. It's basically the same game, the same content. Maybe they added Steve from Minecraft into it or some bullshit, or they added they added Ken, or they added another Final Fantasy. Like, you know, it's just like, these are the same games from 10 years ago. You're playing the same games and they resold it to you again. This is corporate think. The number one enemy to Nintendo weaponizing your nostalgia is going to be game preservation. They kill that by making game keycards, as seen as they pull the plug on the console's life cycle, typically 10 to 15 years, to make you repeat the cycle of buying the same games over again, with maybe a little bit of added DLC, but, you know, they're not going to polish nothing. It's basically going to be the same broken, busted piece of shit you bought 10 years ago. And, you know, I'm going to break the rant right now. So, well, I found this game, Demon Tides. It's a genre-defining game, it basically takes the Boost engine and the golden age of 3D platforming games had a baby, Mario, Sonic, Crash, and they invited Celeste. And I can't forget Hat in Time too, maybe sprinkle some of that shit in there. The demo is not just a little appetizer, your 30 minutes are up type deal. They give you the world, set you free, and let you explore and have fun off rip. Demon Tides is that good shit. Just from the demo, it's leagues ahead of whatever Sega, Nintendo, and PlayStation have. The movement system, the momentum physics, platforming responsiveness, sense of speed, and maneuverability to scale the environment. Demon Tides is... okay, it's a little bit early to call it a masterpiece, but it's hot shit. A game, like, it's pretty good. A game of the year contender if it gets the attention it deserves and they keep it up. Because this is really, really good compared to their last game. This is really, really impressive. For Braz, the devs really, like, I could see they really worked their ass off for this one. And this could possibly be the best platforming game I played in 16 years. Not exaggerating. If you have Steam, stop watching this. Go play right now. Go play Demon Tides right now. You could be having the worst day of your life right now. Your grandma died. Your girl left you. It doesn't matter. Play this fucking game. It's funner than it looks. Go play Demon Tides. It's amazing. Basically, you see from some of the gameplay is like... so in the original game, you had this, you see like this sort of hovering form and stuff, and when you pull that out, like the way that it's controlled set up, it's like the right trigger is like the boost, and it's like your boost to speed up and do speedy moves and stuff. So when you're in that hovering form, it does like a ground pound attack and stuff, and it goes down. And I'm changing the skin right now. Oh wait, no, not the skin, but I'm adding the little updraft ability, because they have like little abilities and stuff, and there's like a hub area on the ship where you could buy these little ability enhancing things, but you have like a certain limited capacity, so that you just can't combine every ability in the game and just be broken. But still, it's pretty balanced, and they add like all these fancy, you got the rail riding from the Sonic games, you got all the bounciness, and I'll fall down here, that looks kind of bad, but I come back up, I climb back up again. But it's like, it feels really good, and it's really impressive. They have like all the super like important like little small mechanical things from the last 20 years of 3D platforming games, like, you know, the little ledge thing that like gives you like forgiveness on ledge in case like the collision or something drops you early before you actually make the jump. And with the ladders, you can boost up the ladders and stuff and do like these rail switches and stuff, and you could do reversals on the switches and the actions with the boosts and stuff, and it carries the momentum from the jumps so that you don't get slowed down from the momentum and stuff. It feels really good to play the game, is what I'm saying. It's like it's just really fun to play. Like while I was playing the demo, it was like it just felt like really like it was like one of the most refreshing platforming experiences I have in a minute, that I haven't seen in years. This level of quality or polish in a platforming game, that it's just really impressive. And I know that the game from the previous game, which was Demon Turf, which I played a lot of, and I saw like the level design and stuff. It's like, it made me really nostalgic for like the Sunshine Galaxy games. And I'm not saying like Odyssey and stuff is bad. It's just like, you know, like I don't really like a lot of the gimmicky stuff with the controllers that Nintendo does. Like, I get irritated with the movement controls and stuff. It gets in the way of replayability later, because you just want to sit down, play a game with the controls. You don't want to do all this movement junk with the controllers, swing your arms around in the air and stuff. You just want to play a game, dude. Like, you just want to sit down, play a game and stuff. Like, it's not really, you know, it's not doing too much, but it's not doing too little. It does a lot, really. And it's like, really, I feel like it
it does what Celeste did for 2D platformers. It does that with 3D platformers, and you can see like a lot of the same effects. You see like the flashing hair and stuff, the momentum carrying over, and you do all these like momentum dashes and stuff, and you know, it feels really rewarding to play. It doesn't feel, you know, forced or anything, or, you know, dumbed down or anything. It feels really good and responsive to play is what I'm saying. And I say I ain't got anything else. That's the end of the video. Final out.